Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to run through the flow of Sun Salutation-A for beginners, otherwise known as Surya Namaskar. Sun Salutation-A can be done in a few ways. You can use it on its own. In and itself is a flow, and it's made up of 8 postures. So if you only had a few minutes morning or evening and you still wanted to move your body in a way to get you energized and mobilize the spine and get that blood pumping and that circulation and that energy flowing through your body, then you would perform this flow probably 5 to 6 rounds, and then you can be on your way, and that is enough of a practice. Some yoga teachers like to insert it into their actual yoga practice. With Hatha Yoga, you would insert the sun salutation in your sequencing in between your standing postures and your standing balances. Or you can just use it as a preparatory practice to warm the body up prior to you actually doing your regular yoga practice flows. So feel free to use Sun Salutation-A in whatever manner is going to help you in your daily practice. So we'll recap that. You can do it either as its own flow, 5 to 6 rounds. You can do it as part of your actual asana or yoga practice, or you can use it as a preparatory practice in order to warm up the body prior to you actually going into your own yoga sequence. Ideally with Sun Salutation-A, each pose that you do is done on one single breath. So an inhale for a chair pose, an exhale for a forward fold. It can be a fast-paced type of flow. However, today I am encouraging you to take extra inhales, extra exhales, whatever your body is calling for, in order for you to understand how the overall Sun Salutation-A practice is. We want to get you to a point where you can use it confidently within your own practice, and then you can then build on that. More practice means more progress. So please feel free to take your time in each of these poses, take the breaths that you need, find your balance, and enjoy the curiosity and the fun that we can have with Sun Salutation-A. And I'm sure you'll find benefit from it. So let's go ahead and we'll start by standing on our mat. And we'll start by standing at the front end or the short edge of the mat. And I'm going to go through the poses and break them down for you. And then we'll start building up to doing a couple of rounds back to back so that you can feel how the flow really is. So let's start at the short edge of our mat, and we'll come into mountain pose or Samasthiti. We'll find our neutral pelvis, and we need to start doing that by engaging our feet into the earth and drawing that energy up through our legs, finding a neutral pelvis by just doing our slight pelvic tilts until we come to neutral ground. Bring that energy up into the shoulder blades, rolling the shoulders up and back, having our palms facing forward. And our chin is slightly towards our chest and our head slightly back. And ensure that we're thinking tall with a nice long spine, growing tall through the top of the head. And when we're ready, we're going to take our first inhale, and we're going to take our hands over our head and come into chair pose. So on that same inhale, you will bend down as if you're about to sit into a chair. Just take a breath here and feel how chair is for you. From here, we're going to come into a full forward fold, and that is on our exhale. So take a slight inhale when you're ready. Contract the lower abdominal muscles ever so slightly, and as we exhale, we're going to straighten our legs, use the length of our hands to come down into our forward fold. So at this point, depending on the time of day, if you need to bend your knees, please do so, and bend them as much as you need in order to keep and maintain a straight, long spine and inviting your torso onto your thighs. Take a breath here and feel what a full forward fold feels like for you. If you find that reaching down to the ground in your forward fold is too much, you can take your hands onto your hips if that is comfortable for you. Now, once we've done our forward fold, the next one is to do an inhale into a half fold. So again, let's make sure that we're maintaining a small contraction in our lower abdominal muscles. We're going to place our hands onto our shins. We're going to inhale into a half fold. And it's at this point that you might be able to straighten your legs a little better, keeping a nice soft knee, not locking the knees out. And stay here and feel how half fold is for you. The next pose is going to be on the exhale, and that's coming into a high plank. So as we exhale, we take both hands down to the ground and we're going to step our legs back as far as you can, nice and long, coming into a plank. So just dropping our bottom down a little bit, keeping a nice long spine. If a high plank is too much for you, I invite you just to take your knees to the ground. And that can be your half plank. Take a few breaths here. When you're ready, we're going to come down onto our bellies, coming into cobra. And cobra is done on the inhale. So let's take an inhale as we take our body down to the ground, resting our tummy onto the ground and keeping our hands either side of our chest. Take a moment here if you need it. And when your body is ready on the inhale, we will take a small back bend into cobra. We're not wanting to straighten our arms completely. We are wanting to draw our elbows back towards the sides of our ribs and looking forward in cobra. Take a few breaths here to take a feeling of what cobra is. On our exhale, we can take our body back down to the mat and we'll use our tabletop position to come into downward dog. Pushing your top half back, come into tabletop if you need to, and straight into downward dog. Taking your bottom over your heels first and then sending them skyward. Adjust your feet in whichever manner you need to be comfortable. And just take a few breaths here to feel what down dog is like for you. Now the next inhale will take us into warrior one. We're going to do this by way of adjusting our left foot to a small angle off to the right hand side, lifting our chest and looking forward. We can come up onto our fingertips as we bring our right foot forward on the mat. So you can scoot your foot up if you need. Find your balance here. And then when you're ready on our inhale, we're going to send our hands up towards the sky and keep our palms apart. Coming into warrior one, hips are facing forward. You've got your nice long leg at the back. Your knees are not going over your ankles, so make sure that they're in alignment. And if having your arms overhead is too much for you, simply take your hands onto your hips. Warrior one. From here on our exhale, we're going to come into another high plank. So when you're ready, engaging the lower abdominal muscles, exhaling as we fold forward, bringing both hands to either side of our right foot and sending our right foot back to high plank. Again, if you need to, just drop your knees simply onto the mat, coming into a half plank. On our inhale, we're coming down into cobra. So let's take our inhale, taking our body down, tummy on the mat, hands either side of our chest. Inhale as we take a small back bend, keeping our elbows in towards our rib cage, looking forward for cobra. Exhale as we drop our chest towards the ground, curl our toes under. We'll come back into tabletop and we'll come back into now downward dog. So when you're ready, on your next exhale, you will push your seat back over your heels and then up skyward into downward dog. And you can rest, take a few extra breaths. Just feel the stretch up the back of the legs and over into the lower back. When you're ready, we're going to do warrior one again, but taking our left foot through to the inside of each of our hands. We do that by just changing our right foot to have a small angle away to the long edge of the mat. When you're ready, you can lift your chest up onto the balls of your feet and send your left foot through to the front edge of the mat. Find your balance here. And when you're ready, take your inhale. Arms up to the sky and bend into warrior one. Hips are facing forward. Make sure you're not accentuating a lumbar curve there. You're drawing your tailbone in under. Stay here for your extra breaths. And when we're ready, on our next exhale, we're going to come back down into a high plank. Exhale your full breath, hands either side of your left foot. Send your left foot back into a high plank or your half plank on your knees. Find your balance. And when you're ready, on your next inhale, dropping our chest and tummy down to the mat and coming into cobra on your inhale. Take a few breaths here. And when you're ready, exhale back into downward dog by way of tabletop. Push through tabletop into downward dog. Adjust your gait and your feet to whatever's comfortable for your body. Take an extra breath. Instead of coming into a warrior pose now, we're going to come back into a half fold. So we're wanting to get our feet up towards our hands. And we're going to do this by bending our knees deeply, looking forward, looking through our hands, and then stepping ourselves to the top of the mat. On our next inhale, once you've gotten your balance, our hands go onto our shins and we'll take a half fold here. Your gaze might be down. Just take your extra breath and feel that half fold. From here, we're going to have a slight contraction of our abdominal muscles and exhale into a full forward fold. Making sure to bend your knees as much as you need for this first round. On your next inhale, we can sweep our hands up, bending our knees deeply, coming into chair pose. And then in that same breath, standing ourselves up, exhaling, taking our hands down by our side, back into mountain pose or Samasthiti. And there we have it. That was our first round of sun salutation. So let's go through that now again, but this time we'll do it just a little bit faster, but still take those breaths that you need. So if I am moving through too fast, don't worry, just do what you can at your pace. And as you move through it a little further with each round, you'll be able to get a little bit of synchronicity. You'll be able to feel where you need those extra breaths. And that's perfect. That's what we're looking for. We're just looking for progress. So let's start with round number 2. Coming again into mountain pose or Samasthiti. We know to engage our feet up through our pelvis, shoulders are up and back, and growing tall through the crown of our head. Standing here, knowing that our first breath is going to be an inhale, coming into chair. So when you're ready, take a nice big inhale, sending the arms up overhead, bending the knees deeply into chair pose. Exhaling as we come into forward fold. And this is a full forward fold, so our hands are heading towards the ground, bending your knees as deeply as you need. We'll come into a half fold. On the inhale, we put our hands on our shins, coming into half fold. Exhaling as we take both hands down to the ground, step back for either a high plank, or you can take your knees to the ground for half plank. Inhale, send your belly and your chest to the ground, adjust your feet and inhale into a little back bend into cobra, ensuring your elbows are pushing towards the side of your rib cage. Exhale, coming back down towards the mat, curl your toes back under, tabletop straight through into downward dog. Adjust your feet as you need here. Take a nice big inhale as we send our right foot through to the top of the mat, adjusting our left foot, swinging our hands upwards towards the sky into Warrior One. And here you can take your extra breath if you need. Inhale as we come back down into a high plank, stepping our right foot back, taking our knees to the ground if we need. Inhale as we come back down to the ground, small back bend into cobra. Exhale as we take our chest to the ground, push through tabletop, straight back into downward dog. Take an extra breath here if you need. As we inhale, we send our left foot through in between our hands, adjust your right foot, swinging our arms up or keeping them on the hips, bending into Warrior One. Exhale, hands come down to the mat, stepping our left foot back, taking our knees down to the ground, and as we inhale, we're coming into Cobra. Nice little back bend here. Take an extra breath if you need. Exhale, our chest to the ground, curling through tabletop, up into downward dog. Find your gait and your stretch here. From here, we need to come to the front edge of the mat. So we're going to bend our knees deeply and we'll inhale as we step forward to the front of the mat, coming into a half fold. Exhale as we fold deeply into a full fold, allowing our head to hang. And our last inhale, bending the knees deeply, coming into chair pose and standing up into Samastiti, exhaling, hands down by our side. How is that one? You can hear from my voice that it's quite hard to talk and catch your breath at the same time as you are rolling through a sun salutation, but definitely give that one a go. We'll go ahead now with minimal cues. I'll just say the names of the poses and the inhale with no extra prompting here. So we'll go into round 3. Mountain pose, taking our breaths. On our inhale, we're going to send hands skyward, coming into chair. Exhaling into full forward fold, hands towards the ground, head heavy. Inhaling into half fold, hands on shins. Exhaling, hands to the ground into full plank or half plank. Inhaling into cobra. Exhaling, tabletop straight through to downward dog. Inhaling, right foot forward to warrior 1. Exhaling, plank or half plank. Inhaling, cobra. Exhaling, downward dog. Inhaling, left foot forward to warrior 1. Exhaling into high plank. Inhaling, cobra. Exhaling into downward dog. Inhaling, half fold. Exhaling, full fold. Inhaling, chair. Standing up into Samastiti. Exhaling, arms down by our side. Okay, as you can feel, your body is definitely warming up. The energy is increasing all through your little rivers of energy that go through all of your body. We're going to do it now for 3 rounds in a row, making it a total of 6 rounds for today. So when you're ready, let's get started. Top of the mat for mountain pose. Take our few breaths here. Inhaling, chair. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling, half fold. Exhaling, high plank. Inhaling, cobra. Exhaling, downward dog. Inhaling, right hand side, warrior 1. Exhaling, high plank or half plank. Inhaling, cobra. Exhaling, downward dog by way of tabletop. Inhaling, left hand side, warrior 1. Exhaling, plank or half plank. Inhaling, cobra. Exhaling, downward dog. Inhaling, step through to front of the mat, half fold. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling, chair into Samastiti. Exhaling, arms down by our side. Straight again. Inhale, chair. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half fold. Exhale, plank. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, right foot, warrior one. Exhale, plank. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, left hand side, warrior one. Exhale, plank. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, front of the mat into half fold. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair, coming into Samastiti. Exhaling, hands down by the side. Last one, inhale, chair. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half fold. Exhale, plank. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, right hand side, warrior one. Exhale, plank. You've got this. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, left hand side, warrior one. Exhale, plank or half plank. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, step forward through to half fold. Exhale, full fold. Inhale into chair and standing up for Samastiti. Exhale, arms down by the side. Well, it's a surprise packet, is it not? That's 6 rounds of Sun Salutation-A, 6 rounds of breath development. I myself am all sheeny and shiny, so I can definitely feel my body warming up, my muscles are being mobilised. I'm using the whole body basically to get myself ready for any further asana or practices for the day, or simply keep this one as your practice. It gives you great energy and it will really tell you where your breath is in each of the moments. So it may seem a lot, but break it down. Only 8 postures to learn. Do them slowly, do them methodically, using your breath and as many breaths as you need in between each of the poses. Let me know how you go with this one. For me, it's an ever-evolving practice. Some days are better than the other, depending really on how my body is on that day. But I would really love to understand and see how you are inserting it into your daily practice. So leave a comment below, subscribe to my channel, find out some other little videos that may interest you, and we'll see you on the mat again another day. Until then, take care.